Welcome everyone. I guess we're live. A really short update here in between of our office work, because this is nearly sort of, well, at least a screenshot from my main Retina MacBook Pro that we use here for our at least amazing Mac applications, exact scan and stuff, OCR kit, don't delay. Try this paperless office stuff today, but I'm shocked, like seriously shocked, that a customer wrote me exact scan doesn't work for him anymore with the latest update. First I thought he means our exact scan update, but then one email later I figured he talks about the latest macOS 10 15.1 Catalina update. And I thought, yeah, actually I didn't load this yet, so maybe better load this now. And yeah, seriously, I have no words. 10 15.1, not making this up. This is not a Photoshop or a GIMP or I don't know, 4.49 gigabyte. And yeah, also breaking news, new emoji. So here in 4.5 gigabyte you get 70 new updated emoji, certainly high quality pixelated pixel art stuff. But I mostly want to point out, I mean, not only is this ridiculous, right? I mean, how can the download of macOS of the full version of the operating system is 8 gigabyte or so, or 8 point, I don't know what, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is like more than 50%, 51, 52, 53%. How can the first point release of a operating system be 4.5 gigabyte? First of all, how can they even, I mean, do they not have reproducible builds? Do they really like touch a header, like fix a header bug and recompile everything? I don't really get this. I mean, leave me in the comments below. This is such a summary of everything wrong and Apple peakbugs in the IT industry, Windows and stuff. It's hilarious. But what do you think also? Well, we have here 500 Mbits, so maybe this already, as long as it took to start here, pulls audio D and start streaming. For us it loads relatively fastish, although yeah, right, we're leveling write cycles of your SSD. But if you have a lesser internet connection somewhere on the countryside, or you're traveling the world with your business on the road or whatever, like some people living out of the WAN and all the fun stuff on YouTube, this is certainly quite some hefty budget there on your LTE traffic. Would you ever update macOS on LTE? Probably not recommended. But yeah, I mean, it's hilarious. This is probably the summary. Otherwise, I just keep repeating myself. I have no idea what they can touch. They should have Delta updates meaning not sending all the files. So old-fashionedly, like in the garage in Silicon Valley, if they made a startup, you would ship an OS with just shipping the changed files. Of course, decades ago, mankind invented Delta, diffs and patches, so you would think this is a Delta compressed update. And how can this still, even like the changes, only the differences, how can this be 4.5 gigabyte? I have no words. Yeah, besides, not only can we fit all the build architectures of a minimal Xorg build of T2 Linux in there, you could certainly fit, I mean seriously, you could fit a whole Microsoft Office suite in there, probably, I don't know what, I mean, except, well, maybe not Windows 10, but certainly well, certainly a Linux distribution, but even Windows XP and Microsoft Office, I mean, it's hilarious. And also I wanted to mention a couple of other things. So I made this video with our amazing paperless office software here. And one thing I noticed, every support case, like probably 1,000 over this month, 1,000 support cases of emails and phone calls, and everyone, like all normal users, were surprised to get loaded automatically a major update of 10.15 aka Catalina. So all of the, I mean, so of course we only hear about the not good support cases, but I would probably, as many problems and intentionally broken support stuff macOS Catalina has, certainly nearly everyone is not amused. And yeah, everyone who could no longer scan with their Fujitsu ScanSnap, so certainly don't delay and try exact scan today, was not amused, was surprised, did not expect like overnight their Mac breaking. Everyone said, how is this possible for like the most outstanding operating system thing? It's like, yeah, maybe it's not the most outstanding operating system anymore. And additionally, I mentioned that Apple in latest months, in whichever framework and Xcode version, whatever, intentionally broke stuff that accidentally, like broke code that accidentally used multi-threading, like background thread even querying some properties of UI elements and stuff, and intentionally was throwing no assertions with NS internal inconsistency, etc. something, previous videos. Totally also surprised that 2019 stuff is not thread safe, right? We have multi-core monster CPUs and stuff isn't thread safe. But additionally, so Apple broke this, I mentioned this previous video, long story. Apple intentionally, so not only did they remove 32-bit code, which I totally don't care, 32-bit is not even the Octane, there's 32-bit, so basically everything here for over a decade is 64-bit. Not an issue at all, 32-bit, whatever, I don't care. However, they intentionally broke, well, accidentally working or, well, querying a property, like seriously, usually nothing goes wrong there. So they intentionally break valid applications, they break intentionally applications out in the wild, intentionally, like looking like a crash, but well, they intentionally crash it with throwing an exception. Certainly not cool in my opinion. And I found a new thing. So with image capture, for you who are not on macOS, image capture is an Apple alternative to Twain. Twain, of course, being the industry standard open specification for scanning that you also use on Windows or theoretically maybe on Linux. And of course, Apple being their own thing, they have done something own for macOS in 10.5 or something, image capture over a decade. And a fun fact, internally, it's even based on Twain. So Twain is some capability API, like query some properties. And so internally, as far as I've seen, image capture is even to some degree using the Twain stuff. So it's like sugar-coated Twain. And just found yesterday also, I found, because some people couldn't even scan, of course, our own drivers. We have 500 own drivers, reverse engineered here, also partially on this channel. But so our own stuff certainly works a treat, amazing stuff. But some customers had problems scanning with image capture, Apple's own blessed Snowflake scanning API. And you will not believe, so I debugged this obviously, personally in between all those YouTube videos here. And I found that there is some more modern Objective-C API, and you get callbacks, like you have to delegate for your scanning task, and then you get callbacks like, for example, you switch the document feeder, and then you get a callback like to your scan delegate object, for example, changed feeder, for example, between flatbed and document feeder or similar stuff. And the code worked for a decade, since 10.6 or something, so it worked forever. And with Catalina 10.15, Apple, we now get, so there you see, this is not even our fault, because now we get calls with a null object, so like zero object, right? So you get there, your delegate gets a callback, finished switching document feeder or something, and the scanner object is zero, it's nil or null or whatever you want to call it. So this certainly irritated our code. So our code did not crash, it just didn't do something useful, because our code was expecting that the feeder changed, and it gets in this API the pointer to your instance with a scanner object, for example. And so it tried to query this, like do a scan then, or set X and Y and W and H and whatever, and scan, and certainly this object was nil, or null or whatever. And so normally in C++ this would have crashed with a null pointer, a dereference, a segmentation fault, but in Objective-C that just does nothing. So the Objective-C runtime, like probably since next step, has always with a null object done nothing, like it's basically no operation. So this broke scanning in the subtle way as like getting macOS callbacks with objects that obviously are not valid. Also, this never happened, right? For 10 years it was working. Also, it makes no sense, right? I have like zero idea what sense it makes to call there randomly without any valid arguments. So much to hear, also fun stuff Apple has broken. Anyway, yeah, welcome Danny, welcome everyone else. If you have any comments, leave me on this video. That is a short update here. So you see mostly broken there on Apple side also. Yeah, seriously, half of the operating system changed. I have no words. Please explain it to me, leave your thought there. And yeah, similar to our IT news, somehow not really the future I was expecting to live in 2019. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something, and see you soon for some more amazing stuff. Yeah, the Graver, but new emojis, yeah, certainly. They most likely take a gigabyte with high resolution desktop pixel retina resolution stuff. Danny also has T2 Progress installed on aux PC. What do you mean with aux PC? Mean you like secondary PC? That is amazing. Yeah, De Graver also agrees that it's disgusting in my opinion, and in his opinion. Yeah, also in my opinion, this is why I don't make this stuff up, right? I sit here, I work, customer writes me, hey, I was finally scanning the last 2 weeks and now it's broken again. It's like seriously, what is going on here? Anyway, see you soon for our next videos and updates to come.